What's up, y'all? My name is Lauren.
And my name is Courtney.
And welcome to episode 3 of the Xpose podcast.
Yes. So in episode 1,
Yes.
we kind of talked a little bit about the difference between compromise
And sacrifice.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I remember.
Yes. So I feel like we should dive a little deeper into that.
So let's dive deeper.
Let's get started.
Compromise.
Yes.
Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. So in episode 1, you mentioned that understanding is compromise. Explain a little bit more about that, because that was powerful.
It's just, when you think about compromising, you compromise based off of the other person's wants or needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in order to know their wants and needs, you have to know them.
Mm.
So that's what I meant by understanding the person.
Yes.
And again, like episode 1, we talked about the friendship.
Yeah.
Friendship comes with, getting to know that person's ticks, getting
Right.
to know. And sometimes you think about in a relationship, there's this saying of a husband needs to know what makes his wife happy, sad, what's her every emotion,
Right.
so that she doesn't have to speak.
Mm.
Now, I agree and disagree, because I still believe that you have to communicate
Most definitely.
your needs and your wants.
Yeah.
But that essentially is what I meant by that.
Yeah.
So when you know how someone operates,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to compromise, because you're already in your head gonna know, okay, well, this is not how I operate.
Yeah.
This is how they operate. So therefore, let me just go ahead and push back
Mm-hmm.
and chill out and allow them to operate in whatever they do.
Yes.
And let me it's really selflessness. And you have to have that in a relationship.
You do.
You have to be selfless. You can't be selfish, because what's the point of a relationship?
Yeah, no,
What's the point?
truly. And like you said, that just, again, back to the first episode, that goes with any relationship. So not
Exactly.
just romantic. Because
Exactly.
even with us, there's times we have to compromise with each
Yeah.
other, you
Yeah.
know? But it goes back to knowing, oh, Lauren's a little bit more extroverted than I am.
Right.
So it's finding that balance.
Exactly.
You know? 'Cause
Exactly.
That's so important. Oh my goodness.
Especially in relationships. I mean,
Mhm.
having a balance, you can't always be, just from personal experience, you
Mhm.
can't always be, I'm not going to say you can't always be how do I say this? You can't always operate the way you want to operate in a relationship. And
That's
I hate
true.
to say it like that, but
it's very true.
that's why I always make sure, like, before, my friend comes to me and is like, hey, there's this guy, I really like him.
Mhm.
I'm like, are you ready for a relationship? That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Because you can be selfish still.
Mhm.
If you're a naturally selfish person, and sometimes people are.
Yeah.
If you're a naturally selfish person, you have to learn how to be selfless.
Mhm.
Now, if you're a naturally very giving, more
Yeah.
selfless person, it's a little easier.
Mhm.
But, you know what I'm saying? I always ask people, are you ready for a relationship? Because it's hard work, 1. And 2, you have to be ready to compromise. The things that you might want to do.
Yes.
You might want to go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And he or she might want to go hiking.
Right.
They might not like shopping
Right.
while y'all are on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all have to meet in the middle and say,
Yes.
okay, if we go hiking,
Mm-hmm.
then can we go shopping?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So that neither of you are sacrificing what you
And
want.
it all ties in.
Oh my goodness. Because a lot of people think, oh, since they like to hike,
No.
I need to give in, so they can love me more.
No.
So I'm going to sacrifice my love and my desire to want to shop so that I can make them happy. At this moment, forget my happiness. It's nothing. I want to protect their happiness by sacrificing my happiness and my wants and my desires.
And you know what? You made a point. You said, so they can love me more.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, that's not even the case.
No.
Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to continue to sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to resent them, so much so to the point where you're going to fall out of love for them. You're going to fall, because all you see is how much, and I'm speaking from experience. Okay? All you're going to see is that you've had to continuously sacrifice everything that you don't want to sacrifice instead of compromising.
Because at that point, you're not even yourself anymore.
Who are you?
Who are you? You're not doing your interests. You're not pouring time into what you love.
Exactly.
You're pouring time into putting on these hiking boots that you don't even want to put on. There's a difference between being like, okay, listen, baby.
Right.
I'm not a big hiker. I know
Right.
you're not a big shopper, like you said, but how about this? We hike for 30 minutes, then we shop for 30 minutes.
An hour, but it's fine.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say it.
Don't take no 30 minutes to shop. Come on now.
Girl, I was going to say 3 hours. Let me stop. I don't even like shopping.
Thrift shopping.
I'm going to shop thrift shopping.
3 hours, okay. Got you.
Got you. But no, like, that's what's so true is a lot of people just confuse the two. And it's easy to do.
It is.
It's so easy
It is.
to do. You know, and I think, let's talk about a different relationship for a second. Let's talk about like family, right? So let's say that you have this certain trait about you, right? And in some cases, it is okay for someone to be like, oh, this is a little different. You should work on that.
Right.
But when a family member tries to change something about you,
Yeah.
that like, it's no secret. It's been there.
Right.
Like you said, I'm very introverted.
Right. Right.
And there's some people in my family that are not. And that's okay.
Right.
That's completely okay.
Everybody's different.
Everybody, more power to you. More power to you talking to all the people.
Okay.
But then it becomes tricky, especially with family, because you're with them more, as to how to, again, balance that out. Like, hey, I'm more introverted and I like to be alone. This is a real situation. And you're more extroverted and you want more time for us to talk, right? It becomes a little messy. Because in my mind, I'm doing what's best for me, but in their mind, they're doing what's best for them. And it's, what I'm doing is selfish, but what they're doing is selfish in my mind.
Right.
But how do you go about finding that perfect spot without sacrificing?
Right.
Because as an introvert, I get drained.
Right.
And as an extrovert, they get frustrated.
Right.
You know? But you're in the same household, under the same roof. So it's harder because, like, I mean, I guess in some relationships when you're married, you're together. But, like, currently, if I was talking to my person right now, I'd be like, okay, I'm frustrated.
Right. Yeah.
But in a family, it's harder.
Yeah.
You know?
That is definitely that's where the compromise comes in. It's like, hey, okay, I'm an introvert. You're an extrovert. You want to talk to me, I don't want to talk. Okay. So how about we meet in the middle? Okay. When I get home, okay, let me have my time. Okay, because most likely, normally with introverts, after a long day, all you want to do is come in and get your mind settled.
Yes, ma'am.
You just want to chill for the last thing you want is somebody to come in. You know what I'm saying?
Me out, what you're saying.
Okay, that's the last thing that you want.
Girl.
I'm not an introvert, and that's the last thing I want.
Yeah.
I want to just chill.
Right.
Okay, so I think sometimes it's just humans, but
yes,
introverts, that's what they want. So let me be in my little bubble for a second, okay? Then when I'm comfortable and I'm ready, whatever time that is, okay, I will let you know.
Yes.
We can come chat for however long you like to chat, because then I'm mentally ready to take on the conversation that you're trying to have with me.
Yeah.
Why would you want to have a conversation with somebody that's not even mentally ready to have the conversation
I'm
anyway?
trying to talk. I'm trying to talk.
Well, I mean, you're not going to accomplish anything because they're not listening.
Exactly.
You know? They're not really in the frame of mind. And that's one thing that I've had to learn as well. I mean, an extrovert is not everybody want to talk all the time. That was an issue, I'm going to be honest, that I struggled with. Because I was like, why you won't talk to me?
No, but it's real.
You know,
in your perspective, that's real.
Yeah.
No,
why won't you talk to me? And it really went as, for me, it was more of an issue in like disagreements or something like that, where it was like, why do you need time to process?
Oh, let's speak on that a little bit more.
Yeah, why do you need time to process?
Oh, my goodness.
If I'm in an argument with someone, I feel like I felt like we have to deal with it right now. I didn't understand that sometimes things take time.
You know, I'm not like that.
Okay.
No, I need time
to
process.
Exactly.
Because so much, the way my brain works is if there's so much overloaded, I'm going to start speaking out of emotion.
Yeah.
I know myself. I get very defensive. Those walls.
Right.
You're not talking to Courtney right now. You're talking to the debater.
Right.
I'm just being real,
right.
But like you said, for somebody on the other side, they're like, wait, you just don't want to settle this. I'm trying to settle it right now. And they don't always speak like that. Let me stop. But like, seriously, like, so it goes back to being understanding and knowing that person. And sometimes you gotta mess up to figure it out.
Multiple times.
Friends, past relationships, I'm still figuring it out.
Definitely.
You have to mess up to figure it out.
Definitely.
You know?
Mistakes are the best learning experiences. I mean, honestly.
Yes.
You know? Like I said, I didn't learn that until I went through it and was like, I guess it is okay for it to... I was that person that made excuse for it. So I would say, I want to go to bed angry. You know? It's not necessarily one... Because you don't want to go to bed angry.
You don't.
And I'm still a believer in that. You know, you want to make sure that within yourself.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you have to talk to that person.
No, I agree.
You just have to come to a calm situation in yourself, you know, a calm mindset within yourself.
Yes.
And say, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to let you have your time. We'll reconvene in the morning and solve this.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple.
It is.
But I made it hard because I was trying to talk.
Do?
Yeah, I was trying to talk to you in that moment.
Exactly.
Never works. Never works.
I wish it did.
Okay.
But girl, you know, a relationship that I tend to sacrifice myself a lot in is friendships. And let me elaborate on that, because I feel like I have trouble saying no to my friends a lot. So they'll be like, Courtney, let's go hang out. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go, you know, because I'm trying to seem fun. I'm trying to see hip and with it. But in reality, I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm drained.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid to tell them that. Because, in all honesty, sometimes it is just within yourself. Fear of, oh, they're going to judge me.
Right.
They're not going to talk to me.
Right.
So you sacrifice what you truly want. Because in that moment, I want to take a nap. I want to go to sleep. I don't want to do a thing.
Right.
But I sacrifice that and go with them based off of fear. And that's where a lot of sacrifice is stemmed in. Is you're afraid of the outcome of something.
When in reality, you can't predict the outcome.
You can't.
So why be afraid of it?
You can't.
You know? And when you really think about it like that, it's like, why be afraid of something you don't know about?
Because the mind.
Episode 2.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the mind plays tricks on you. So, and naturally, you know, we're afraid of
the unknown.
It's
a huge fear.
Yeah. And until you become intentional about, and that's that word, intentional. Until you become intentional about, you know, your motives behind, you know, the sacrificing and the compromising, you know what I'm saying? You're going to continue to be in fear of the unknown, you know? So, yeah, that's
Yeah, girl.
Wow.
And then I think it's important to point out, sometimes you need to sacrifice some things.
Definitely.
Because I don't want to just brush over that. Sometimes you need to sacrifice some things, you know, especially if you want to build like a healthier relationship.
Exactly.
So let's talk about romantic relationships again. So let's say you were a gamer. Let's say that you were always always on the game, 24/7. It was your life. Yes. But now you have somebody in your life that maybe they game a little bit, or maybe they just don't game at all. You can't expect to not have to give up gaming 24/7 if you want a healthy relationship.
You just hit on a topic. Girl,
what I hit on?
A lot of females, you know, that conversation of females, and it's really popular. Actually, it's not as popular as it used to be, but it's really popular because females used to be like, "Why are you always on the game?" You know what I'm saying? You're always on the game.
Always, girl. They did that yesterday.
And then men would be like, "Oh, why are you mad because I'm on the game when I work?"
Yeah.
You know, okay, man. You know, and I've seen different conversations when women are like, I don't care if my man's on the game as long as he's, you know, doing what he needs to do, and you know what I'm saying, he's worked a long day, you know, he can come in. There is it goes back to balance. Because for me, for instance, if my man is a gamer, which
Lord, just I'll step to that.
Because I'm gonna need a lot of that.
I can't with you, man. I can't with you. A joke.
But that goes also to preference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't prefer my men to be gamers because what I'm gonna be sitting there like trying
to
have an intellectual conversation, and you sitting there, yeah. I'm sorry, I can't. Unless you can do both.
Why did somebody pop in my head? I was like,
uh-oh. But that conversation is very prevalent to the times now, because you have a lot of men that like to play the game.
Yes.
And I just recently found out what the game was. Do you know what the game is?
Girl, what's the game? Spell it to me.
2K.
I'm already knowing.
Because I was like,
I'm already knowing.
What is the game? You know, dudes be like, I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
What is the game? There's like 1,000.
No, I'm already knowing. It's 2K. Yes.
What? The game. What?
Girl, I would just mind business. Okay.
When I found it, I said, so this whole time y'all could have just been saying 2K. It's cool. It's great. But it goes back to that balance, making sure that you know, if you are going to have to sacrifice a portion of your time.
Yes.
And I guess in that situation,
it's kind of compromise.
Yes. Too. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you might need to. You got to do an introspection, because if the game has become an addiction,
exactly,
then it needs to go completely.
Yeah. See, that's
because
right.
you can't exactly. You can't focus on the game and your relationship at the same time.
No. What's your priority?
Exactly.
You got to sit back and reevaluate. What is my priority at this moment? Exactly. If it's the game, if you're like, oh, this is my life.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm not going.
Right.
You do you.
Right.
Leave that person. Because nobody should be competing for your time.
Especially not with the game.
Because what I'm not going to do is compete
with a fake LeBron James. Not doing that.
But with anything. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to compete with Netflix. I'm not going to compete with the boys or the girls.
Okay.
I'm not going to compete with your mother. Stop. I done did too much. I'm sorry.
That part. I think we should end on that one. I'm not gonna compete with your mother.
But for real, like, love your mama, love your friends, love Netflix, all that.
Right.
But if you're trying to have a healthy relationship, friendship, anything, you need to know how to prioritize and organize your life.
That goes to a point that I want to make about, like, maybe like you're in a relationship and you guys are out at a function or something like that. And, you know, you see the boys, you see the homies, you know, you're like, hey, what's up?
Right.
You know, hey, what's up? Making sure that you still prioritize your woman.
Oh my goodness.
While you're talking to the boys is so important. And vice versa. Yes. If I'm out and I see my girls, what's up? You know, I want to make sure that I let my man know, hey, I still got eyes on you.
Right.
Or even if I have male friends, you know what I'm saying? What's up? You know, I want to make sure that, hey, this is my boyfriend, so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that y'all got to be ace, boom, coon, but you know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that I let, you know what I'm saying? Prioritizing that person publicly as well. That's, to me, you can do it in private, but when you do it in public, that's more of a wow. Because anybody can do it in private.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not saying that it got to be on social media.
Right.
You know.
But there's a difference.
I'm not saying
there's a difference between blasting your person on social media or to simply being like, I'm not afraid to show you in person.
Exactly.
No, I get what you're saying.
And I'm letting you know that you are my top priority. You know what I'm saying? You are the one. Even though it could be, you know, multiple females here, you're still my, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point, Lauren.
Yeah.
But I want to become a little vulnerable for a second. And I'm going to ask you, when in your life have you felt like you've had to sacrifice something for somebody else?
In almost all of my relationships.
Speak on it.
And I'm going to say I had to sacrifice. It was all different in each relationship. This is going to be interesting, but I had to sacrifice my virginity when I lost it. And I hate to say it like that, but I was young mentally, and I had no clue what I was doing. I had no clue that what I did could have ruined my whole entire life. Literally, quite literally. You know what I'm saying? And I sacrificed what I knew not to do for a moment of pleasure.
Your values.
My values.
Your character.
Everything.
Oh, I'm about to cry.
Okay.
That's deep.
It's
a lot of people are going through that.
A lot of people have done that. And they don't even realize it, you know? Sometimes I think back on it, I'm like, I laugh because I'm like, wow. But then I quite literally cry because I'm like, wow. It's by the grace of God, you know? Yeah. And I go back to my marriage, obviously. I sacrificed pretty much all of me in my marriage. Yeah. My personality. Mm-hmm. I sacrificed my health. I sacrificed my mental health. Mm-hmm. I sacrificed all of me because I thought I had to sacrifice it. Because I was quite literally being forced to sacrifice it. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. And it was devastating in a sense because all of that, like we talked about in episode 2, affected my mental health, then it affected my physical health, and it just trickled on down to just my attitude, you know, with my family. Right. You know, it got bad to the point where I had an attitude with my family all the time. I didn't know in the moment. You didn't realize that. I didn't realize it until I got out of that situation. And my mom's like, Lauren, you're nice today. And I'm like, wait, what?
Nice today.
You know, I'm thinking.
Hi, Mama Kendall.
Okay, I'm thinking, hold on, Mama, what are you talking about? She's like, you were quite literally the devil. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Already fine.
Literally. And she's like, you just weren't pleasant. Like, you always had an attitude. And it woke me up. I said, wow, I changed that much. Yeah. Because I'm not, you know, I'm not the devil.
You're not a mean person.
At all.
You aren't.
So for me to have been like that with the people that I love the most, think about how much I compromised, how much I sacrificed. Not compromise, how much I sacrificed. So now I got to flip around and ask you the same question.
You know, I found it interesting how you mentioned your personality because I feel like that's what I compromise the most. Mm-hmm. And it makes me sad just thinking about that. Mm-hmm. Because now I'm thinking about how many times I've done it. Yeah. Right? Because I'm going to be real, like, according to stereotypes, I'm not a stereotypical black girl. Yeah. Right? Like, I'm just not. Right. And I feel like there were certain people that I would be around where I'd have to pretend to fit into these stereotypes so I could feel accepted. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, I remember, oh gosh, I'm about to out myself. I love country music. Okay? I love country music. And there it is, y'all.
Cheers to that.
I need a drink. But no, I love country music. Yeah. And like theater and Broadway and musicals and all that. And I noticed whenever someone would get in my car, I'd immediately change it. Yeah. So fast. They couldn't know. I'll be like, oh, they don't need to know that I like this. So, girl, I would put on the most ratchet song that there was. I was like, oh, y'all gonna know that I'm black. Like, but it sounds funny, but it's so true for so many people. Oh, my goodness. Wow. So many people. I was changing the way that I talked. Yeah. You know, because, don't get me wrong. I can get real slang and all.
Okay, yeah.
But sometimes that's by accident. I was intentionally doing it. And then I would go back to my room or wherever, and I'd be tired because I was pretending to be someone I was not.
You were emotionally exhausted.
I was sacrificing who I was. Yeah. Again, for that fear that people wouldn't like the real me. Because of that fear that I thought I had to fit into a stereotype that I'm nowhere near fitting into. Right. Right. I sacrificed myself for people that probably don't even know my full name. For people that don't hit my line. For people that don't even remember me when they walk past me. Won't say hi.
Period.
It's,
And you know what? That brings back the topic. I used to get made fun of for the way that I talked. Yeah. Because I was a black girl that talked intelligently. And my dad was somewhat strict.
I'll pause that for a second. I want to point out, and I want to thank you for not saying a black girl that talks white. Because a lot of people are like, oh, you talk white. No. My intelligence is not labeled intelligently. I love how you said that. I need to point that out.
Oh, yeah. I speak intelligently. Yes. But it's because I was taught that. A lot of, and that's why when people, you know, young black girls come, if I hear young black girls talking, you know, very slang.
Right. And ebonics, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't judge them because it's like, you weren't taught.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's not an ugly thing. I mean, it's not ugly. It's just stereotyped and judged upon, like, oh, if you speak like that, you're unintelligent.
Or you must be ghetto.
Yeah, well,
no,
that's not the truth.
That goes back to, like, and I hate to say this because sometimes it's kind of a gray area, but that goes to, like, names. And, you know, like, sometimes people say, oh, if you name your kid this, then they, you know, if your name is this, you must be ghetto, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it's just like everything in that little stereotype, I used to get made fun of for, as far as, oh, your name is Lauren, you know, your name is White, you know, your name is White or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You talk like, I can answer the phone and you wouldn't even know I'm Black.
Exactly.
You know?
Right. Get called Oreo.
Okay. Like, I've been called that too.
Girl.
I'm sorry I speak intelligently.
I'm not sorry. You better not apologize. I'm unapologetically intelligent.
You know what it is?
What is it?
They're scared. They're scared. People that make those,
yes,
they're scared. Because they're like,
wait a minute.
Hold on. She's outside the box.
And you know what's funny? It's not that uncommon.
No.
I know so many intelligent people of color. So many intelligent people that are of color that still have stereotypes on them.
It's the TV and social media that's making it uncommon. That they're telling us it's uncommon. They're telling you, hey, you gotta act like Delicious off Flavor of Love. You gotta act like Tiffany.
No, true.
Okay, you know
as a dark-skinned woman, the only role you're gonna get is a slave.
Right.
The baby mama.
Right.
So what did I try to do? Fit into that. I sacrificed me for other people that don't really care about me. It's not even just my person, not my time.
Yeah. Oh.
My time. Oh, my time. Time is so precious. And the amount of time that I don't want to say wasted, because, you know, everything's intentional, but the amount of time that I've sacrificed on people is, oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's sad when you think about it sometimes. It's like, wow, did I really do that? But, I mean, in the moment, you don't really, think about it.
Right, you're like, this is great, this is fresh, this is new, this is, they love me, they actually care about.
Exactly.
And then here I am, months, years later, thinking, I really sacrificed my time to help this person who turned out to be using me, because where are they now? They're using. Oh my goodness, the amount of times that people, I had to have a friend be like, Courtney, you're too nice. People are using you right under your nose and you don't realize it. Girl, I was sacrificing my time by driving people places in college because I had a car. Still have a car. Sacrificing my time to just sit with people, buying them food when they needed it. Where are they now?
Nowhere to be found. You know what? That's very quite literal for me because all last year I spent my time, you know, with specific people that at the end of the day had no benefit to me. None at all whatsoever. And it was like, wow. When I finally realized, like you said, when you finally realized I'm spending too much time, you know what I'm saying? I'm too nice, really. When I realized that, it was like a wow, like an eye opener. And you really kind of like, how did I let myself get to this point? What was it that allowed me to, you know, think it was okay? It's that fear. You are so afraid of the unknown that you completely strip what you know. You do. Because, I mean, if we being 100% real, in college I made some dumb decisions that aren't of me. I'm going to be real. I'm not going to say what they are because my business. But they were not of me. And I was like, oh my goodness. I really stripped my character, stripped my morals. To where people were like, Courtney, like, what's going on? Like, who are you? And I'd ask myself that too. Like, who am I? Who do I want to be? Who do I want people to see? Because these actions aren't reflecting that. I was so afraid that this person wouldn't like me that I sacrificed me, my reputation, my possible future. You know, like, but like I said, in that moment, you're not thinking about that. And it's so funny because in your mind, you're not like, oh, how can I compromise this? You completely strip it. There isn't any like, how can I find that middle ground where like, oh, for me, like maybe I can play that country song once. And then I'm weak. See if they like it.
See if they like it.
Maybe I'll play Tennessee Whiskey because they'll probably like it.
I'll play the one with Nelly where, you know, he's
country grammar. Some Carrie Underwood.
No, for real. But instead of like compromising through that, I completely let fear be like, oh no, they're not gonna like that. They're not gonna like you, so you gotta strip it.
Yeah.
Completely. I'll turn it off so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah.
I remember the first day at high school at SEA, and that can mean a lot of things. But I remember my iPad went off, and it started playing Cruise by Florida Georgia Line.
I'm weak.
And this kid in our class, we're gonna call him T.
Okay.
You know T.
T.
Corey. T. Rhymes with Corey.
Oh.
He was like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Girl.
Can't even talk. Okay.
But I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how that got on there. I was in English class and I remember it. Because I was like traumatized, like, oh my gosh, they're going to know my secret. They're gonna know who my They're gonna know my now the world knows my secret, but whatever. Unapologetically, I love it. Whatever.
Okay. I don't like country music.
And that's fine. Because
we're
still friends. Look at us. We're still friends.
We make it work.
But yeah, it was just so funny how like quick I was to be like, oh, that's I don't know how that got there. Clearly I know how that got there.
Downloaded that on.
What you mean you don't know how it got on there? Courtney, this is your iPad. It's your name.
Somebody else must have downloaded that.
Right. This isn't mine.
Here, take this.
Girl. But it's just so crazy. Because the funnier thing is, we were at a predominantly white high school, and I'm still acting like this.
Man. But you know what? I think it would even be more so, because it was quite literally the opposite for me.
Okay.
Going to a predominantly white school. Mm-hmm. Because I felt like I had to make my presence known as a black woman.
Yes,
that y'all, you know what I'm saying? I am. When in reality, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So I spent most of high school being really somebody that I wasn't.
Oh my goodness.
Because I felt like I had to be this black
the
girl.
Stereotypical black girl. Yes.
Which, yes, okay, like, I'm not, like, I can speak intelligently, but I'm not, like, just, I'm not ditzy or anything like that. But I'm not a hood girl.
Right. You're cultured.
Yes, I'm
you're cultured.
And even that was pretty much, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to grow into that.
Yeah,
something I was raised in, because I went to private school my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, predominantly white private schools my whole life. So it was not new going to that. But I felt like with high school and being in a predominantly white high school, I was like, I gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, girl.
That is so crazy. Like how it's still continuing. Like that was happening in high school. I know I did it in middle school. I know for a fact I did it in elementary school. No, I do. I know for a fact that for years I have been sacrificing who I am, things I enjoy, to please other people. When in reality, all you have to do is communicate, learn to understand that person, to find that balance, and compromise.
Exactly. It all goes together. And like I always say, it's one beautiful masterpiece.
Oh my goodness.
Okay?
It is. It's really that simple.
It's really that simple. It's as simple as A, B, and C.
Communication is the key.
Yeah.
It's the most powerful tool. That's what I always say. It's the most powerful tool.
All things.
You find out if you like this person, if you want to continue that journey.
Exactly.
Or you find out, oh, maybe you want a different path.
Right. You're not my cup of tea.
Right. You're not my cup of tea.
And that's fine.
Not everybody's going to be girl, that's the other thing. You don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. And I just tell myself that, Courtney, you don't have to be everybody's cup of tea.
Because I think naturally as perfectionists, you're a natural people pleaser.
Yes.
So you want to be everybody's cup of tea. And I know specifically for me, with me being a people person, that goes into people pleasing.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, they gotta like me.
Yeah.
But I really got to a point in time, and this is why I am how I am now, where it's like I'm still somewhat of a perfectionist, but I had to let go. Perfectionism, I believe, is a form of control.
Yeah.
I had to let go of the things that were causing me to want to be perfect, causing me to want to make everything perfect. And that was that control. Because essentially, what do we have control over? there's very few things that we have control over.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's kind of a scary thing, especially for somebody like me.
Right.
But when I got to that point, then I was able to be unapologetically me.
Oh my goodness, most
now
beautiful
sometimes
thing.
I gotta scale back because
Right.
I'm like, you know,
girl.
But sometimes people need that really
Yeah.
raw. You know what I'm saying?
They do.
And that's what I've realized. You can't sugarcoat stuff
Yeah.
with everyone.
Mm.
Some people they can't take it. Okay, but
be real. Like yes, it's
some
okay.
people
Some people are a little bit more sensitive than
yeah,
others.
they can't take
that's
it.
okay.
That's fine.
Yes.
Not knocking you, but you got to know who you're talking to
Right.
as well.
Mm.
So I started realizing, okay, Lauren, release that control.
Mm.
Now you can really tap into who you are. You can really tap into, you know, who you truly are. Be who you truly need to be for yourself.
Yes.
First.
Because that's the most important relationship
Exactly.
on this earth.
Exactly.
You know, yes.
Exactly.
So I kind of just want to end by doing another little vulnerability thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about times we've sacrificed.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a time where you compromised and it ended positively.
Put me on the spot here.
I'm trying to expose.
I mean, really, honestly, like, it just happens, really, I feel like, weekly. Because, and it's not just, like, compromising with a person. It's compromising in, like I talked about in episode 2, compromising, you know, some things that I need to do during the day and counting the things that I did do as small wins. You know what I'm saying? Let's meet in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I didn't do this, but I did do this. You know what I'm saying? That's a form of compromising within yourself, within your day. Right. So I feel like I do that maybe on a daily basis, maybe on a weekly basis type deal. In a relationship, I can't really remember exactly when. I mean, I know it's definitely happened.
Right.
I can't think of anything, but just,
and it's like,
you know, like, on a daily, I know it happens. I'll probably think of it after we're done.
Right.
Yeah,
I got it.
Got it. I'm good.
Great. I got it.
Man. Let's put it on video. Ready? I'm gonna record.
Not ready. Lord have mercy.
Do a Zoom meeting.
Girl. See, I won't.
Okay.
I really won't. I really.
She said, I'm not. You're not going to catch me in my bonnet.
And that's all what? Mary had a little lamb. Because you're not going to catch me. Once it goes on, I'm out.
No more camera for me.
What do I look like? Let me stop. I can't.
Woo.
But for me, I would say that I've definitely gotten better at compromising. Romantic relationships, I would say, it's mostly been a time thing, you know, and because one of my most recent relationships, I found that we were unloading a lot of our stress on each other, you know, and like I said, I like to help people, so I would drain myself out with helping them in their emotions. So I was sacrificing my mental health at that point. That's what I was sacrificing. So then I had to have the conversation with them and be like, hey, listen, I care about you so much. I don't want you to think that I don't. But I need you to understand I can't always be here.
Right.
This is affecting me.
Right.
So it's important to reiterate, listen, I'm not saying that you're doing something wrong.
Right.
You know, it's important to reiterate that. But I had to let them know, listen, I'm still here for you. I will still be here for you. But we need to find a balance of like, hey, we can talk about this during this time. We don't need to talk about sad things all the time. You know, it's about that communication. So now we're strong. Like, you know, we're better. Because I didn't even realize that at first. I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm getting stressed because we're talking about all these things, blah, blah. And like I mentioned in episode 2, you need to go to a therapist for a lot of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something. And then like, we already talked about the family thing, just finding that balance of, hey, I'm an introvert, you're an extrovert, but we can make it work.
Right.
You know, it's possible.
Right.
With what? Communication.
Effective communication.
Oh, active listening. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand communication.
Because you can be talking and not communicating. You can be listening and not hearing. When you do it.
Because honestly, that's going to be a whole nother.
She said we about to get into
because I was about to go to
we're
going to say that.
Yeah.
Episode 4.
Stay tuned.
Coming soon.
I can't. But no, this has really been a great conversation. I'm glad that we were able to just unload and expose some more things to people. The truth.
Compromisation.
Because, like I said, a lot of people don't realize that fine line between sacrifice and compromise.
Yeah.
What a beautiful discussion.
Always
a pleasure.
And with that being said, make sure you like.
Yes.
Make sure you comment. And make sure you subscribe to our channel. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get notified when episode 4 releases.
Yes. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.